Bine v-am regăsit la un nou episod din IndieCast. Cred că deja știți felul în care merg lucrurile în acest spin-off al podcastului Grind. Eu sunt Tudor, editor la Grind, dar și în cadrul proiectului meu personal Cuibul cu Jocuri. Astăzi l-am alături de mine pe Alexei, unul dintre creatorii studioului Torshock, care împreună cu Alexander, partenerul său de proiect, au pus la cale dezvoltarea titlului Total Reload. Trecem deci în modul engleză pentru a afla mai multe despre acest joc extrem de interesant. Alexei, thank you very much for joining us. I'll start breaking the ice by asking you the most obvious question. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and also about the studio behind the game? Thank you very much.
Hi guys, my name is Alexey. Yes, I'm one of the developers of this game, which called Total Reload. It's a game about sci-fi artificial intelligence, which like trying to solve the puzzles and reload the universe by finding out the things about which one like should help him to reload the game. Basically, I am from studio which called Torshock. It's two guys studio, basically literally two guys and us who created this studio in a few years, and we have been working with Alexander on this game for like 8 years, I would say. So probably that's all. What could I add to answer more?
Maybe tell us a bit about your colleague as well and yourself, of course.
Yes, my colleague and me, two programmers basically, but he's more like, he moved to be a level designer and narrative designer, more like also he's working with marketing. I'm a more like programmer, and all technical part basically hanging on me, and I'm responsible for all bugs. If you see something, basically you can accuse me or literally write to me, say like, Alexei, something is wrong. It's our project.
So, what inspired the core concept of this video game? Because I think a lot of people that have seen the game find some similarities with some very well-known other games. I will not say the name, but I will let you tell me the inspiration for this, maybe.
The core of inspiration is puzzle games of all sorts and kinds, but most of us, it's like Antichamber, Witness, and I would say like Talos Principle and Portal. It's the most like famous games which we played for like probably from childhood, and we were inspired with them. So.
Yeah, for me, Portal was also, I mean, this is what when I saw the game, I said, okay, this is something similar to Portal. Of course, it has its own mechanics and very distinct type of gameplay, but it does feel a bit like it's in this family of games. So it was very cool because I was a very big fan of this game myself. Now, the interesting question is, how long did it take for you from start to finish, from the idea to actually having the game to develop this game?
Oh, it took a long time. I would say 8 years. We have been working. It's divided on the process divided on different stages. For example, first time we wanted to create multiplayer online game, but gradually decide, and we had a small team of developers which gradually unstick from us because it's like quite hard to make such kind of game, and network connection and pings with network requires very like very hard skills, programming skills, and requires more time for literally 3 people team of 4. That's why we decided to move single player game and just remove the network part, but probably in the future we will work on it. So that's how we decide to create a single player game. Later we decide to basically from the scratch we want to make puzzle. It's the core thing of this game, and all levels were invented before we even tried to create like great scale box for playtests, etc. And we just we took all our paperworks and moved into 3D and gradually improved the like quality of gameplay. We moved to change how to say it. We inspired with different puzzle games and sci-fi atmosphere, and we tried to transfer it from them to our game, the things which we really liked in them.
And as a fan of this sci-fi genre, are you like also a fan of books like that inspire this? Maybe do you read some known writers?
Yes, of course. In past, I have been reading a lot of books for like Julian, like Springhead of Professor Dool. I don't know how to translate it to English.
Yeah.
Uh, 200 Leagues Underwater, Nemo.
Ah, Jules Verne. So
Yeah.
okay,
Uh,
okay.
Alexander enjoys Stephen King, as far as I know. Also, like different classical books, as Jules Verne too, and yes, Stephen King, Jules Verne, his like preferences. Also, he even put hints about the games about the books with him, which he was inspired with into this game, literally
Ah,
inside.
okay, that's very cool. Okay, so for our listeners, they have to, keep track of this for
Yeah,
those who read. So, you talked about the challenge of creating a multiplayer. I want to ask you if there were other challenges in the development. What other challenges did you meet other than the fact that multiplayer was complicated to do?
yes, we had many different changes. For example, technical part, it's like via connection, dynamic wires, dynamic objects, basically all things which have significant impact on the performance of this game. It's, I would say, graphics, the most heaviest thing, like we optimized lasers, optimized literally everything to make it work smooth on laptop as like the best thing we could do with optimization being introduced in this game. So
This
like
sounds
yeah,
complicated.
uh,
Um, why did you choose in the end the first person? Was it something related to the technicality of the game, or was it something personal? You like first person games, or
atmosphere. We wanted to create the game as the person would see it, like the atmosphere, the situations from his eyes. That's why we decided to make it like first person, the vision from like person eyes and interaction with things. Uh,
okay?
on point we thought about maybe we will move camera and let player to look like from like angle to himself, but decide not to do this. Probably in future we could introduce this idea, but right now we decide to stop on like first person vision.
Okay, that's a very good explanation because I was actually curious if there was something more meaningful because the game itself feels very, how to say, full of personal references. Like you can
Yeah,
feel it is your personal project. And this is why I wanted to ask you if in the game for you there is a special puzzle or special part of the game that is specifically tailored to your experience or that, screams, this is Alexei. I know this part is Alexei because I know him.
yes, I understood you. Basically, all puzzles I knew and invented them with Alexander from the scratch, and I like how to say I acquainted with everything inside which we saw in the game and in C. It's like half of my work. Just Alexander
Wow.
worked all of these parts like very hard and make them really comfortable for playing. We played a lot of time different levels, choose different mechanics, like cut some not the best options and ideas, and left on the best ideas and games and puzzles like we could invent and introduce in this product, I would say.
Okay. And were there any puzzles, for example, that you liked very much, but you said, okay, we can't do this because maybe there was a technical problem or something that, just didn't add up and say, okay, let's remove this, although I very much like it.
The very interesting puzzles all introduced in this game, I would say. I didn't tell anything about, or we can introduce this and insert into game because it's really cool. All cool things we try to insert into game and make them like comfortable for and make the player transfer fun to the player. And
Okay.
we tried and we add some animation, graphics, and even secret chambers. Alexander probably doesn't know about all of them, but they are in the game. Probably I don't know the things introduced secretly, so players can like observe, research, and they will see more if they will use cheat codes and like look in the place shouldn't look to and be like in forbidden areas. So yes, we introduce different things, and players would be able to observe on to see all like Easter eggs in this game, I would say.
Yes, I was going to say Easter eggs because I really love Easter eggs. You know, it makes the feeling of playing a game very personal, you know, because you know some secret parts that maybe other players don't. And tied to this, how did you decide on the difficulty of the game? Because I know players are very different. So some play very hard and want harder, some want very easy.
It was really hard to, yes, it's hard for our indie team. Basically, we tried to make players to play. We gave this game to acquaintances, to our friends, and all of them played in different ways. And this thing made me confused about how to like range the difficulty of this game, like because like one person even like struggle with like literally zero puzzle like difficulty with the last like can easily pass all like 100 puzzles and say, oh, it's very easy. So we worked on the balance of this game. Yes, it's like one of the significant part. Also, we thought about introduce like difficulty of the levels by changing this option, like, but it's not possible for this kind of game because it's like how to say, like this kind of puzzle inside the game which is like baked into it, and you can't like dynamically make it harder and harder like from the because of like option. But from we concentrate on the next thing. We started to teach it player from the easiest mechanic to the hardest. This is strategy which we use to make the game fun and interesting.
Okay,
So
so it's like holding your hand a bit in the beginning, and then as you become better at this game, you are free to use the mechanics you learned before. That's actually very interesting. Um, okay, do you plan to support maybe the modder community for people to add extra things in your game, but not from the development point of view? So just people who like the game and want to add some extra stuff in it.
Yes, we asked, and people gave feedback, and some things we introduced into game. Not literally extra stuff because nobody suggests something like I want to see this, but some people suggest some like we would like to see like these things more clear, or like we'll struggle with this like puzzle because it's like not obviously obvious for us because it's like hidden, and we don't think like it's literally because of us, it's because it's your fault, and we improved all such things and make them like able to get fun from all this process as much as we can.
Okay. So what was like some very funny suggestions that you got from people who played your game? Because I know gamers can be very inventive sometimes.
Yes, we got some suggestions. For example, one person said, let's make player fly, and for players basically it probably looks like nothing like it's not hard. Yes, it's not hard technically, but it ruins all puzzle because you can just fly from start to the end without. It's like let's play chess without rules. So it's like only funnest. Or somebody asked us, could we add tentacles to this robot, and we was like, what? Uh,
Okay.
okay, but we didn't plan to add this, but some players asked about really interesting things to make. They asked about ability to pick the wire and literally hang it with to grab it with himself. Just they
Mm.
to see how wire like moves from the source point to the destination point. It's like it's interesting thing. Probably we'll think in the future about such things, but right now it's already done, and we won't introduce it right now, like because of bugs and some
Mhm.
deals.
Imagine.
Yes.
So it's a good point that what you brought up. I wanted to ask you, we talked about modding, but what about you? Do you plan to release the game on maybe other consoles, or do you want to add extra features, extra DLCs and stuff like this in the future?
We have plan to release on consoles, yes, but we don't know how it will go with like sales. Still not super great as console platforms would require for us, but we will see. I'm not sure how it will be successful, but we will try the best.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. So, oh, sorry. Yes.
yes, I forgot about Steam Desk. It's not very popular in my surrounding, but we add this ability to play on like on Steam Desk. It's like kind of Linux. So
Yes, yes, I have a Steam Deck, so it works. I saw online, and I saw people in my area who know the game said that this is actually a good feature because they play on the go and they want to play something good, like a good game on the go, and this was one of the mentions, you know.
yes, it's like we add this ability. So only apart from like Windows, Linux, and macOS, you can play also on Steam Deck. So I'm happy to hear feedback how it's like
Yeah,
experiencing.
yeah, yeah.
So let me know if something will do like will not
Yeah.
work. That
Whoever's watching right now, yes, better test it on the Steam Deck, so they tell us. Okay, so we talked about the technical aspect, but I want to go a bit into the story area. And one of the descriptions of the game says something about a story about loneliness and difficult challenges. And I'm curious as to why, or rather to say, how did you get inspired to use this aspect? Or is it like something personal, or is it maybe something that you think is general? What was your inspiration for the story?
story it's we inspired with sci-fi books basically. So we moved from uh, okay, it's like hard to explain. One of the source it was like Stephen King and the books which you will see as Easter eggs in this game. So a few books uh, how we decide to we had experience about reading different like um, sci-fi books like old-fashioned, new-fashioned, and based on them add this idea like also we saw this film how to call it like I don't
Hmm.
translation to English, you know, always cinema in your native language sounds like completely different from like source like English. Yes, so uh, probably like Tom, how to, shouldn't mention to make people confused. So yes, books.
I think I get it. It's like the movies. I mean, in Eastern Europe, we have a very, how to say, weird, strange movies in the sense that they give you a certain feeling, as opposed to Hollywood movies, which are very different, happy and.
Yes, yes, probably out of machine, I would say, like kind of about artificial intelligence is like cinema. So yes, cinemas in story inspirations is out of machine. Books about like sci-fi and fantasy books, and how we get to idea of dividing like mind of player inside himself. Basically, this idea was born out of like the situation of this game. We didn't create different like players and PCs. We decided to concentrate on the interaction with the player with like the person who behind the screen and observe all his actions to make
Hmm.
like player to how to say to feel he's not loneliness alone and he interact with somebody who look at him and help sometimes and describe the story during the process. That's
Okay.
how I decide to introduce this like artificial intelligent, but basically going forward, I would say it's like part of himself, which like talks to him. So like small.
So, could you say this game could be seen as a sort of introspection, like watching yourself, understanding yourself, meditation, something like this?
Yes, it's like one of the layers which we introduce in this game. And it's like on this superficial like surface, it's like you just solve puzzles. But when you go deeper, you can like uh, think more about the things in the game and about the story, about the Easter eggs, and try to compare all them and find like different things which we hide inside this like puzzle.
Hmm. And you mentioned, I think the AI Hawking, I think was his name. Can you tell us a bit about this idea and the idea behind the character? Let's say, how did he come up?
Hawking, yes, it's like scientists who observe different really cool things in this world. Everybody probably know about him, and it's like how to say we based on this like real cool scientist and decide to introduce his idea in this game. It's like kind
Mm.
of him who, like in second universe, I would say, who uh, tried trying to save the world out of this game by solving
Mhm.
puzzles and restart the universe from like cool death.
So this is basically like Stephen Hawking. You're referencing Stephen Hawking, I believe, no?
Yes.
The most known scientist, which I think passed away maybe some years ago, not a long time ago. I wanted to also ask you something about the gameplay itself. Do you think that the gameplay and the story should be treated separately, or do they go like together? You can't experience one without the other. You said something a bit about this before.
Of course, they should be joined together and shouldn't be that shouldn't how to say shouldn't go in separate ways. It's like a very bad thing when you are playing one thing but story about another thing, and the task for developers to make all things together and smooth, and it's like one of the crucial things which transfer the how to say um, transcend the atmosphere and idea of the game to make people go inside this like feeling, go inside the atmosphere. Let's say.
Okay. One thing that I was very curious, and I think a lot of our followers are too, is your choice of not using any gore or violence, because this is futuristic, and sometimes you see, like Cyberpunk, for example, one example of futuristic is a lot of shooting, a lot of killing. How did you choose this, or why exactly did you choose not to include any violence?
Yes, it's like probably our crucial, like, no, it's our ideology of our team, I would say. We decide not to use anything of such things. Like it's not because of how to say we hate them or something like that. Just in our game, we concentrate on the puzzle themselves, not just on violence or killing NPCs. It's not our genre, of course, but we also didn't introduce some like 18 plus content because of like not because of how to say borders when we will publish it, but we are like persons, we are like developers, like people with him, I would say, not very like excited to see it in our game, in our product, I would say. That's why.
Right. So, closing on the story side of the game, do you think, or what do you think are some philosophical or final ideas that a player who plays your whole game and finishes it should take with him after finishing the game?
Uh, I think the player should think about like the time which he spends in his life. It's like one of the things we thought about during the development, and at some point he decided to think about the most important things in his life, about family and relationships, and about like being a human, not being a robot.
Yes, okay. This is very actual for 21st century because a lot of people are acting like they are robots. So this is also good for our listeners. Okay, and I will switch a bit to technical aspect again. I was wondering, is your game more controller friendly or friendly rather with the classical keyboard and mouse input?
Yes, it's like personally I have been working on control introducing in this game, and I would say I tried to add both literally. We add like ability to adjust control from keyboard, like you can adjust any key literally, and from this another side, I have a few consoles gamepads, and I add ability to literally to connect gamepad, and I just as you want as you can make it comfortable for you, and you can adjust vibration and buttons and different. So here shouldn't be obstacles with like control.
Yes, I think people are very divided on this, so this was a good idea to bring all the people, also the people who like keyboards, but also the controller individuals. How many testers did you manage to have in your early development stage for this game? For a lot of people?
Usually maximum 50 people, 50
Hmm. Hmm.
people early alpha stage, and in total it's probably, I'm not sure, maybe 100 in total.
And did you target it from different locations, or you said something about your family, but outside the family?
Yes, but we moved on to the internet, and after that I would say like a few thousand like on beta tests gave feedback us about like control. So we released demo ages before releasing it on the Steam. So we tried to get maximum feedback about bugs, control, story, gameplay, etc.
Okay. And moving on deeper into the technical side, what engine did you use for your game, Total Reload?
Uh, Game itself built on Unity 3D game engine, but also we used Blender, Photoshops, 3D Max for different operations, converting Substance Painter to just like to have experience to draw different things and textures, and free software as GIMP and PaintNet or Maya, basically all this stuff which
All
we
of this.
know about.
This is for me interesting because nowadays a lot of people are, very crazy about the Unreal Engine 5, and I was interested because your game looks so cool, and I said, okay, it looks for me like the Unity engine was moved to the maximum for this game. Would you consider now, after taking this project with this engine, would you consider changing the engine, or are you satisfied? And if you do this project again, you still use Unity and all these tools you told me?
Good question. It depends more like on my preferences, I would say, as a developer, or if we will have a team on preference of developer too. Um, I'm ready to change if I will see the point why, but I don't see the point why I should change the engine because everything inside Unity already and works perfectly. So it's not the engine is not the crucial thing here, which like make all things better or worse. All Unity and uh, Unreal Engine are quite similar, I would say, and more things like a bit different from the Scratch, but in general, it's like the most like crucial thing depends on developer team, not on engine.
Okay. Okay. Did you ever consider having a VR mode in your game? Because I've seen some similar games which have implemented this, and they were quite a huge success.
Yes, we how to say, we already prepared for introducing for this game for VR. Yes, some parts of code written for VR, and it's not like completely ready to go, but I would say it's quite like prepared for moving to VR for the future, but not right now. Yes, we considered it, but at some point decide not to make it for VR because it's add more extra work for us with graphics.
Mhm. But you have this in the plan for the future, so people can prepare
Yes,
their.
yes, for future, not for now.
Okay, and what can I ask you? What technical limitations, let's say, did you have in the sense that maybe you wanted to do some graphical stuff that you said, okay, no, we'll leave this for later, or something like this? Was there something that was too much, and you said, okay, let's leave this for later, or let's just not do it this way?
Um, Levels, I would say, and puzzle.
Okay.
It's like the thing which we at some point decide to stop because it's like quite hard to invent and test them for our small team. That's why we decide to release around 60 levels in this game, So, and animations, it's quite hard for us to build animations, introduce and check them to make everything cinematic, looks like perfect, to make things feel, or also like the end animations took like probably 1 month to make it, like black hole and like this fox, like clouds around it. It's quite hard things, I would say. Such like how to say, artistic things is quite hard for us, and we tried at the end to dodge them and concentrate on the quality of the gameplay.
Okay, I agree with the artistic side. For me is also problematic. I like to write stuff, but then artsy, when it has to be artsy, it's more difficult for me. So, okay, so I want to understand a bit more about your, let's say, game choices. So, what games do you play when you have free time that probably inspired you also to work on this project?
Literally, when I for the last like years, I didn't play a lot of games during the process of development. Basically, I played only in Total Reload because all the time I have been like checking bugs, testing, tried to make me feel as player, feel as MC, and understand how everything goes. So, but in general, I played like strategy games, like the soldiers, I would say steel soldiers from Bitman.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all these games from Jonathan Blow, of course, you know, probably, yes, of course,
Yeah.
and um, uh, how to say, all this like Talos Principle, Portal, of course, Antichamber, Prince, like Blueprints. Yes, I saw him and played a bit
Ah, yes.
completely. So yes, of course, I so many games and play them during the process, but not like uh, from the scratch to the end, just like to see what's going on around me, but concentrated on our game mostly.
Okay, so this is actually you brought a good thing up. I wanted to ask you, how did you manage to balance out work on the project, on the game, with your normal life, like going shopping, doing the normal stuff. Maybe if you have an extra work, something. How did you manage?
I would say it's kind of a nightmare, yes, for us to manage to join everything, and how I do it. I literally don't know how I'm doing it. It's like trying all my best to finish a tasks and uh, as soon as I can, like to finish something, I do it right away. Yes, something like that, but it's hard, I would say. Mission impossible for us.
Yes, I can relate to this because for me it's also even this interview, was very complicated to arrange because everybody has his timetables, has his own work, and you have to join them somehow for everybody to work together. But in the end, like you said, sometimes I look in my back and I say, okay, how did I do this? Because I did it, but I had no
Yeah.
idea. So, okay, what were some of the, or what was one most rewarding moment for you tied to the project, of course, and what was one of the biggest, let's say, opposite, like disappointing moments tied to the game as well?
I think the most rewarding moment it was the time when we released this game on Steam, and it was like at least we did it okay for like few. And the disappointment, I wouldn't say disappointment. We had disappointment moments apart from small conflict with Alexander during the process, decide to make something in one way and another way. Sometimes
Uh,
small conflicts always exist, I would say. So it's like, well, not massive disappointment, but small moments when we find to have compromise and find solution. Yes, kind of.
Yes, I think you are right. And some people say it's even healthy to have disagreements because this is the power of the relation, whatever business relation, whatever relation there is. So, what about? I'm very curious, and I will switch a bit to the gaming industry. What sources for financial sources did you have for the game? And did the where are you based? And did the state where you are contribute or help you in any way?
So basement, okay. Personally, me opened company and earn somehow money to not to be on like on zero level and somehow to sponsor our game, like at least
Yeah.
some like stuff. Basically, our families help us, and it's like two things, two crucial things, like families, some like small works, small business, and that's all I would say. Yes.
Okay. Um, and other than this, for example, do you have in your family people that maybe work in the same direction, like are developers, and they came with some extra help of this type, like, okay, there's a bug here, or seeing from your perspective, sort of, or stuff like this.
Yes, I know many like guys in different teams in my surrounding too. They mostly work not on games, on like QR testers, like in massive companies like HR, like um, Zepto, maybe World of Tanks. Yes, of course. I knew personally talked with some developers. For example, I not to, to lie, I would say. I'm not sure. Okay, I wouldn't mention them. Basically, yes, I know some people which like connected with game development, but not like me, doing everything from the scratch. It's kind of like really hard thing to assemble everything.
Okay.
In nowadays, it's like not easy, especially marketing. It's not like just release and everything go. No, you just release and nothing goes. Like
Yes, I've heard this before from other indie developers. This is a common, how to say, rhetoric. You know that it's not done. You release it and it's money comes in. It's very difficult from there. But this is a huge question, and I think this will make you smile a bit. If you were to start again from the beginning, what would you do differently, or would you do something differently?
yes, I would do from the scratch. We decide to like we would decide to working on marketing on the first place instead of secretly working on the game and not showing everything. We would show everything and publish on all social media. Probably the best thing it's like show more. The more you show, the better for you in the future when you will release a game. But when you do it at, at the end of game project, it's like not the best thing which you could do ever do in this project. Yes.
Uh, what features would you like now, right now, looking at the game finalized and everything? What would you love to add, like something that it really needs this game? I really want to add this.
Yes, we had like, some puzzles which we disconnect from this game. For example, lasers could be separated, divided, and reflected from different surfaces. The players would be able to see reflections of the lasers in the secret rooms, but in this like if we will not like go inside and will not like see Easter eggs and secret rooms, we will not see the puzzles and abilities for lasers also lasers and yes, multiplayer. It's very good thing to make all more funnier if you will add like network connection and make people interact together. Yes, we already tried different like puzzles, multiplayer puzzles, but didn't add inside this game. So yes, in the future we will add them definitely if we will continue work on this project.
You said something about the community and the feedback, and I actually wanted to ask you this because I've asked other indie developers. How important is the community feedback and the community per se for you on the game development process?
Yes, it's very important, and it's literally you just can release the game to your community, small community, and we will give feedback straight away. And like with all things, the best sides of the product and the worst sides, and we just like supposed to concentrate on the bad things and remove them. Yes, it's a very good thing to have your own community.
Okay. So we'll slowly head down towards the end of this conversation, which was very, very interesting, by the way. But I'll ask you a couple more questions because I'm really, really curious. One of them is, of course, if in the future you plan to start new projects with Torshock and with your partner Alexander, like release new games or something like this, if you have this in.
Uh, for future, we have different plans for future, but I wouldn't like reveal everything. But yes, we would like to continue with network and releasing this game on different platforms. So two things, two like close goals for us, like multi-platform spreading this game and uh, multiplayer mode adding, making game multiplayer. Yes, would be
Okay.
great.
Okay, and since you are a young developer and of indie games, I want to ask you, what would be some advice you'd give to, I don't know, me or somebody else who just started doing this? What are some things that they should look for when starting to develop their own project?
First of all, just before you started the game, you just supposed to have the Steam page and release all things on this page. Work more hard on your community, share all news, all things which you can share among them, and you shouldn't hide your game. You should talk about as much as you can. Basically, it's the main crucial things which is supposed to help to save the lives of many people and developers. I think.
Okay. And okay, so I also want to ask you to, give our followers, which could be also international at this point because we spoke in English, a suggestion or, whatever comes to mind at this point.
Sorry, connection lost. Could you repeat?
Uh, if you can give our fan base and the people who are probably or who will listen to us a final, let's say, advice or your idea, maybe promote your game, whatever, something like this, a final message, let's say.
Oh, final message. Oh, literally, we would be happy to receive all your feedback, literally bad and good, and even like crazy bad, I would say. We're happy to hear you guys, and we would be more than happy to see feedbacks about our game on Steam page. It really would help us to promote our game. Yes. Anyway, I would say massive thank you for people who bought this game. Yes, it's really big help for us to continue our work. Thank you guys. You are best.
Okay, Alexei, thank you so much for joining this conversation. It was a very, very interesting talk, and I'm very happy to have met you and also Alexander and played the game itself. What can I say? I want to give you good luck, to have good luck in the future and many, many releases because I think the essence is there, and you guys are very good at what you're doing. Thank you so much.